known as the reproductive cells.
Okay, we know that all cells inside of our body contain the specific genetic information. This genetic information is arranged into different structures. The tiny structures inside of our cells that are made by DNA and made by different types of proteins are known as chromosomes. Today we are going to discuss in detail about the chromosomes. What do chromosomes represent? The information inside of chromosomes acts like a recipe that tells how a cell should function or to replicate itself. Every person, or better say, every form of life has its unique set of instructions. It means that every form of life has its unique set of chromosomes. So chromosomes describe or give instructions to the cell what should cells need to do. But where are these chromosomes exactly located in the cell? We have learned that exist two types of cells, prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. The most important difference between prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells is that prokaryotic cells do not have a nucleus. So it means their genetic information is spread into the cytoplasm. Whether the eukaryotic cells have a nucleus, a specific nucleus. This nucleus is surrounded by its membrane known as nucleic membrane. Here, exactly inside of the nucleus, are located the chromosomes. Chromosomes, as we said, are made by proteins, specific proteins, and are made by DNA. So I'm going to summarize it again, where chromosomes are located and how are they made up. Chromosomes are located inside of a cell, exactly inside of the nucleus, and they're made by specific proteins and specific DNA or genetic information. Different forms of life have different number of chromosomes in each cell. Human, you know that we have 46 chromosomes in each cell, except the reproductive cells or the gametes. Reproductive cells have 23 chromosomes. In this slide are shown different types of organisms and the number of their chromosomes. So it means that exists different number of chromosomes due to the type of organism. For example, the cat have 38 chromosomes, the dog 78 chromosomes. So the number of chromosomes depends on the type of the organisms. It means that different forms of life have different number of chromosomes in their cells. But what do these chromosomes look like? Normally, see the chromosomes even with a very high powerful microscope because they are so thin and arranged in very thin strands. When the cell is not dividing, the chromosomes look like as a jumbled structure, such as this structure here. At this moment, the chromosomes are so thin and arranged in a very thin strand. This is the reason that at this moment, when the cell is not dividing, we cannot see the chromosomes, even with a very high powerful microscope. But when a cell begins to replicate itself or to divide, the strands that was at the jumbo structure start to winds up into shorter tube. So these thin strands arranged in a jumbo structure, when a cell enters into the division process, or when a cell starts to replicate itself, this thin strand is arranged into shorter tubes. These shorter tubes are connected at a point known as centromere. Also, the chromosomes are made by two parts, the long arms and the short arms. The long arms are known as Q arm and the short arms are known as P arm. So let's say that chromosomes looks like short little worms or like the letter X. But we need to specify that chromosomes are usually in pairs. According that chromosomes are usually in pairs, it means that humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes. You know that our body is made by different type of cells and a lot of cells, trillion of cells. These large amount of cells are arranged or grouped into 210 different types of cells according to their functions. So each cell does a specific or a different job to help our body to function. You know that some of the cells that our body is made of are blood cells, bone cells, muscle cells, etc. In the cells, different chromosomes carry different types of information. For example, some of the chromosomes may contain information for our eye color, while some other chromosomes are able to determine blood type or even the gender. Some different types of cells, you know that they are specialized to perform different functions. But how could they perform these different functions according to they have the same DNA or the genetic information? This is due to the different chromosomes. Due to the presence of different chromosomes, the cell is able to carry specific functions or specific activities inside of our body and to help our body to function. Okay, specifically, let's discuss about the human chromosomes. So as we said that chromosomes are usually in pairs and they look like little worms or letter X. It means that we have 23 chromosomes. 23 pairs of chromosomes and a total number of 46 chromosomes. We all get 23 chromosomes from our mother because the reproductive cell or the egg cell contains 23 chromosomes. And also we get 23 chromosomes from our father because the sperm cell has 23 chromosomes too. All chromosomes from 1 to 22 are labeled with numbers, not with specific names. And these pairs from 1 to 22 have different roles and different instructions for the cell. Exists an extra pair of chromosomes, the last one. This extra pair of chromosomes is so important because due to this type of chromosomes or pair of chromosomes is determine the body gender, if you are a boy or if you are a girl. Girls have 2 X chromosomes. So this extra pair of chromosomes for girls is made by 2 X chromosomes. While boys have 1 X and 1 Y chromosomes. It means that the extra chromosome for boys is made or is called as XY chromosome. So I'm going to summarize it again. That we have in total 46 chromosomes, each cell of our body except the reproductive cells. Usually, the chromosomes are arranged in pairs. The pairs from 1 to 22 are labeled with numbers, and these different chromosomes, pairs of chromosomes, performs different functions because they have different instructions. The last one determines the gender. The last pair of chromosomes for female is made by 2 X chromosomes, and for male it is made by 1 X chromosome and 1 Y chromosomes. Okay? At the beginning of the lesson, we specified that the chromosomes are made by specific proteins and the DNA. But what does DNA stand for? You know that DNA represents deoxyribonucleic acid. It is also considered as the genetic information or the brain of a cell. But what is DNA made of? DNA is a double-strand molecule made by nucleotides, or also known as bases, made by a phosphate group and deoxyribose. These different nucleotides are adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. We usually represent these nucleotides by using their first letter. For adenine is A, thymine, cytosine, and guanine too, so we're going to use only their first letters. So the DNA is double strand made by nucleotides, and these nucleotides are made by bases. There are 4 bases made by a phosphate group and a sugar. This sugar is ribose, deoxyribose. That's why the DNA is considered as deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribose due to the presence of deoxyribose sugar. So, DNA is able to give different instructions to the cell. DNA is considered as the software of a cell. Imagine the cell as the computer or the hardware, and imagine the DNA as the software or the program of this cell. According that the DNA is considered as the software, it means that the DNA has the whole instructions that a cell needs to function or to carry on its specific activities. DNA gives different instructions to different types of cells, and then cells are able to read this information that comes from DNA, and due to this information or due to this code, the cells carry on their function. And this is the way how do cells know what to do. Again, imagine the DNA as a recipe. So you get the recipe, you can read the information that is on it, and then you can order something that you want. It's the same for cells and the DNA. DNA gives specific instructions to different cells. Cells read these instructions, and then due to these instructions, they follow on these instructions, they carry different functions or specific functions. In this way, do specialized cells work, and in this way, all cells know what to do. But how can DNA give different instructions for different cells? Please do not forget that DNA is made by 4 bases. By the combination of these 4 bases, DNA is able to give different instructions to different cells. It can control all cells of your body, nerve cells, muscle cells, blood cells, it doesn't matter. Due to the type of cell, it can give different instructions, always by the combination of 4 bases. Here are shown some facts about the DNA. The word chromosome comes from Greek word. It means that Greek word. I'm sorry. That it means that color, and the soma means body. Some animals have lots of chromosomes, but much of this DNA is blank, and this blank DNA is called as junk DNA. Each cell of your body carry on the whole set of chromosomes. Some chromosomes are longer than the others because they contain more DNA. And in total, humans have 46 chromosomes made by genes and alleles that we are going to discuss them later. Do you have any question till here?
No.
Okay.
No.
I hope it is clear. Okay, according that it was clear, who's gonna help me to label the name of this diagram? Please raise your hand and then I'm going to give you permission. Enyo?
So the first one is the
This one, what
picture
does this one represent?
the nucleus,
This one?
the cell,
Yes, you're
the
right.
cell membrane, and this explains the chromosomes.
Chromosomes or the genetic information. Well done, Enyo. Okay, the second diagram, maybe Alden. Okay, please, who's gonna label this diagram? Eric Beatty?
Yes, the 2 parts on the top,
Yeah.
or the part on the bottom is the DNA, and the 2 parts on the top is the cytoplasm.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a hint. The two shorter tubes of the chromosomes are connected at a point known as centromere. The chromosomes are made by 2 arms, long ones and short arms. Long arms are known as? Grace, you raised your hand.
The long arms are called Q arms.
Yes, you're right.
And the short arms are called P arms.
P arms.
P arms.
Here I have another diagram that you should label. Clayton, this first diagram, what does it represent?
The first one represents the cell.
You're right.
The bottom one, the first one, represents the chromosomes. I don't know.
Nucleus, but
Nucleus, but,
nucleus are located the chromosome. Yes, you're right, Clayton. Okay, this structure here, Yoel, Metai.
I think it is Q arm, P arm.
In general, it represents the chromosomes. In this diagram, we could not determine better which is the long or the short arm.
Okay, so it is the chromosome.
Yeah. And the next one? The last one, what does it represent?
DNA.
DNA, yes, you're right. It represents